Automobiles have souls, as do homes, as does architecture. They become living things in a way, and it has to do with the personality that designed it, and it has to do with the personality that inhabits it. When I was looking for my new studio, it was really important that I had a curb cut, as we call it in New York, which was the ability to drive into my building. And so I found this old carriage house and renovated it. But it was a really important part of it to make sure that I could park the cars in here. In fact, this floor I ripped out and put steel and concrete in and talked to my engineer about making sure I could fill it with cars if that's what I wanted to do. I said, I either want to shoot elephants in here, or I want to put 8 cars in here, so make sure the floor can handle it. Being in New York City, it's sort of, most people wouldn't consider even having a car, never mind having a collection of cars, or never mind actually trying to collect cars. But again, it's such a part of my life, and I work really hard, and so it's my release. It's the thing that I do to give me pleasure, and it's really become a passion. I've started photographing my cars. I also use them a lot as props for my photography. It's wonderful eye candy, and it's so structural and metallic, and all of those things that sort of make for a good prop for a photo. I know how to work on the cars and to maintain them to some degree, but it's really not my interest. My interest is more emotional. I get this feeling of being in them and driving around. I mean, I've got a 1939 Lincoln Zephyr. To drive around New York City and pull up in front of a restaurant or a bar and just leave it at the curb and go in, it makes me feel like I'm Robert Mitchum in a black and white movie from the 30s or something. When I was younger, I had, many Matchbox cars, and in fact, it was sort of almost the same as having full-size cars in that I always wanted that next one. It was always to expand my collection. It was more about the hunt and the buy and having it than keeping it, really. But as I got older, my toys got bigger, that's all. So although it looks like a museum in here, these cars are driven. Every day I take something out, whether it be a motorcycle or a car. This floor is more functional, shooting, cars, that kind of thing. Next floor is all production. It's all the computers, the printers, and the storage and the files, the archive. Next floor up from that is my office, which I really wanted to keep away from everybody else so that I could not only keep away from them for their sake, but also be away from them for my sake so I can focus on what I need to focus on. And then a screening room up above that on the top floor and some other decks. The sense of composition that I incorporate into my work is about design, it's about structure, it's about architecture. I started shooting landscapes. That was my main thing. It's really still a strong interest for me. In fact, when I moved to New York, I was an architectural / real estate photographer. In fact, I would do anything when I moved to New York to make a paycheck, but that was my specialty for a while. And so I had a lot of interest in it, and I bring it right back into my photography. Just as I use cars now in it, I also use architecture in everything that I do. It was a really fun thing to have Architectural Digest call me and say, we want to do this thing on your building, but it's also about your cars and about your interest in both of those things. I think all kinds of people read Architectural Digest, certainly. I mean, obviously there's people who professionally have an interest in it. And then, of course, anyone who doesn't have a sense of design or who doesn't have an architect they're working with, or even has the ability to have the kind of homes that are showcased in Architectural Digest, still read Architectural Digest for ideas. I do. I'm renovating my house right now, and buying magazines and looking through and tearing out things that interest me. And I did that throughout this whole building.